What if your life would actually get drastically better if you just focused on being so present to the moment and enjoying that experience that you actually stepped into a reality where doing things as an end in itself, meaning for enjoyment, became greater than doing things to get things? A lot of people actually live life doing things to get things, right? What is happening right now is what is meant to create the future. So they're very much focused on future based scenarios and situations and occasions and outcomes that they're actually not even enjoying this moment right now. Years ago, when I first started on my journey of healing, something that I thought about and that I thought was actually very interesting was that humans could actually become so unbelievably present that whatever it is that is, distracting them in their minds and causing suffering, mental and emotional pain, if you are so present to life, that can actually just alleviate. When I read Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now, I learned more about this concept. He became so present to life that his mental agony basically evaporated. And I'm not saying that this happens overnight, but what I am saying is that a lot of people do live life waiting for a future scenario to save them from this present moment. And instead, you could just enjoy life and be present with it and experience a greater dynamic of joy as a result of it. And that's not the only thing either. The other thing that I'm learning is that when you are present to the moment and you are feeling the wholeness of this moment, you're feeling the power of the joy in this moment. You're stepping yourself into a reality where that becomes the norm. And because, science has shown us that everything in this reality is energy, if our emotional state is also energy, then we are attracting based on that. And the fascinating thing is that in the previous eras of my life, I saw that I was attracting based on the anxiety and depression that I was experiencing. Like attracts like, energy attracts energy. That's the reality of it. So I was attracting based on the anxiety and depression that I was experiencing, that I was feeling. Now I'm attracting based on the present to the moment joy and gratitude that I experience consistently. And I'm not perfect. Nobody is. There are some times where days end up just being weird, out of balance, out of whack, and that's just the way that it is. But when you can get a consistent baseline of gratitude and joy, again, it's all energy. Your emotions are like an energetic signature. They attract based on whatever it is that you're putting out, right? It's like an antenna, right? Whatever it is that you're tuned into, you attract. So if you're tuned into lack, if you're tuned into scarcity, if you're tuned into fear and anxiety and depression, you're going to attract based on that. And when I say attract, I mean draw to you. Previously, I was very much a fan of manifesting. Now I'm very much a fan of the inner journey of channeling the emotion and then experiencing based on that. Because if we are all energy, if our emotions are energy and like attracts like, then that's just the way that it works. Now imagine if you consistently felt elevated emotions like joy, ecstasy, euphoria, gratitude, love, uh, any other elevated emotions that you could think of, you're going to attract based on that. You're going to draw to you experiences based on that. And the fascinating thing is that a lot of people struggle to be present in their day to day life because they're very much consumed by the low energy emotions that they are regularly and consistently experiencing on a daily basis. That's why, likely at least, they seek out a future occasion to free them from their emotional agony, to save them from their emotional agony. But instead, if you are to be present to the moment and feel joy and feel gratitude, I'm not saying that you don't have shit going on in your life. We all do. No human is free of it. But I do believe in the exceedingly massive alleviation of human suffering. And I believe that being present to the moment and feeling joy in this moment, if there's anything that's pulling you away from it, it's your mind. It's the habitual repetition compulsion of subconscious and unconscious material in the mind that's pulling you away from the present moment. Regret of the past, fear of the future. I understand. I've been there. But what I am saying is that you can be so present that not only can you actually alleviate yourself from a majority of the mental agony that you experience regularly, but you can also step into a reality where the joy, the gratitude, the peace, the euphoria, the ecstasy is your baseline. That's your regular. But then not only that, but because like attracts like and everything is energy and energy attracts energy the way that it is, you would actually attract and experience more of those dynamics. Isn't that wild? First it started off being, oh wow, if I'm just so present to life and I take things as an end in itself, meaning I do things for the enjoyment of it rather than just to get things, then I just enjoy life that much more. And I enjoy a far larger percentage of it regularly. That's pretty wild. Take this from somebody who has been through a lot in life and relationships. Not to dive into my own trauma because I'm not going to, because I remain to keep that boundaried. But the reality of the matter is that you can experience an exceedingly elevated life just simply based on how present to the moment you choose to be, as well as how much you seek that as an end in itself because you're enjoying it rather than focusing on doing something now that gets you something later on. There's nothing good or bad or right or wrong about focusing on something now to get you what it is that you want later on. That's a massive part of life. But a lot of people struggle to be present with the now because they're waiting for the future event to save them. And what I'm saying is that when you step out of waiting for the future event to save you and focusing on being present to the moment, and you do that consistently and you channel elevated emotions, you attract a life based on those emotional experiences. How wild is that? And then that becomes your baseline, and then you continue to attract based on that emotional dynamic, and it totally transforms everything. And that's the reality of it. It's a fascinating endeavor. It really is. When you realize how much you're allowing your mind to be used by subconscious and unconscious material because it's just simply repetitive and compulsive. Oh, it's comfortable and familiar to stay there, but you know that you don't want to be there. I mean, I'm not here to like suggest anything for you or manipulate anything for you. I don't know anybody that would consciously rather stay inside of suffering consistently when they could experience joy, gratitude, love, ecstasy, euphoria consistently. It just doesn't make any sense.